Today on the Rebel Tribe podcast, we are diving into a conversation about what it truly means to reclaim your health, your energy, and your sense of self, especially when life knocks you sideways. Our guest
Mhm.
today is Lona DeRieux, a wellness advocate, energy worker, podcast host, and the heart behind happy healing. After a career in accounting and personal health crisis that became a wake-up call, Lana made the powerful decision to pivot into natural wellness, and she's now certified in emotion code, body code, and belief code, and helps women clear emotional and energetic blocks so they can start showing up as their most powerful, radiant selves. So whether you're feeling stuck in survival mode or you're ready to feel good, and I mean really good again, Lana's story and tools are about to spark something big inside of you. So get comfy, grab a cup of tea or a green smoothie, and let's get into it. Welcome, Lana.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
I was doing some research, of course, because I always do that before I bring somebody on.
That's
and
nice.
and I discovered that you had a little bit of a health wake-up call yourself, and that's what led you to all of this. Can you share that with us a little bit? What caused the pivot from accounting? Of course, it's accounting, so anything would have been a welcome pivot.
I actually love it. I still have one accounting client. I will, or two, one really small one. But I was a single mom, and I got my degree in psychology, but I ended up in the accounting field, and I was a business consultant, and I was falling asleep at the computer every day. I was just so chronically fatigued. I had PMS so bad. And so when I met this lady at a gym in Utah, because my girlfriend convinced me to go, I asked, does it, when she said she did essential oils, I was like, well, does it help PMS? And she said, yeah. So I bought a book from her, set it on the shelf for another 7 months, suffered. And I just prayed. My shower prayers were the best. So I would always pray in the shower. And it just, I said, what does everybody feel this way? What do I do? And then the book popped in my mind, and I jumped out of the shower. I didn't even know if I still knew where it was. So I made the call to finally stop suffering. So that was kind of the beginning of my journey. And then my son had struggled with some mental illness challenges, being attacked. And so I had met with a girl that did what was called emotion code. And I was like, I think I have that book because I had bought it, but I just didn't do anything with it. But I was just kind of led, and I met a lady on an airplane, and she led me to body code. And so it just kind of, I started the journey with an essential oil to help me with PMS. And now this is how I do my healing.
So can you explain? Because I know, I'll be honest, up until I met you and was reading about you, I didn't know anything about emotion code or body code or any of those. So can you explain what they are and was there a moment that made you think this is it? This is the real thing?
Um, yes. Well, I mean, the thing was started with my son, but then I just started practicing it on myself, and I wanted to get certified. So I started practicing on other people. And then they started getting, they would come back and say, yeah, I feel better. And they'd start coming back to me. And I just kept growing. So I started with the emotion code, which is 60 emotions, and it can take care of a lot of things. And I have actually took an additional training that shows you how to do circuits. So we have a yin and a yang in our body, and they're connected to our meridians, right? So the yin and yang and how it flows. So when it's out of flow, it's because there's emotions that you need to release from that so that it can flow smoother. And so I kind of use this as a daily practice or every other day. But when I'm starting to feel down a little bit, physical things are showing up, I know that it's time for me some other type of work. So emotion code would be either using it in that way, which I do, which still helps your organs, because when you have this trapped energy in your body, it causes physical illness. People don't realize that. It's just we're energy. That's what it is. We are. And so when we have bad energy in us, it's going to affect us physically, emotionally, in so many different ways. So you can take care of a lot of things with emotion code, but if you want to really like uncover the story of what's going on in your body. So let's say you go to the doctor and they're like, we've done all the tests, we really don't know. This is something that you can do, because it really just is kind of like asking the subconscious mind what's going on. And the body code starts, it has like 6 different categories in it. So it has like pathogens, and it has energies. So it's like it starts with these 6 categories, and then it goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. I don't know if you would be able to see this or not, but it's energy, circuits and systems, toxins, nutrition and lifestyles, misalignments, and pathogens. And from that, it just dives deeper. And you do this by muscle testing. So you have to know how to muscle test. And Dr. Bradley Nelson, you can get it on Amazon. There's a book called The Emotion Code. He also has the body code, and it has the chart of emotions, but it teaches you how to muscle test. And it also teaches you about energy. Now, if you want to do it as a business, which is what I do, you have to get certified. So it's just been an incredible journey. And then the third one is the belief code. So emotion code for emotions, cleaning out your circuits. Body code is to tell a bigger story. You can also do brain circuit connections. You can do the endocrine system. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. And then belief code. So let's just say you had a belief that I'm not good enough, or you have a belief I have no confidence, or you have a belief I'm always sick, or you can even use belief code for a physical thing, as long as muscle testing says that that's a component of it. So let's say your back hurts. So I would muscle test, do you need emotion code, body code, or belief code? Do you need a brain circuit work? Do you need this? So I do the muscle testing to find out what is going to be best for that situation. And it's a combination sometimes, because belief code actually has emotion code and body code work in it. So you find these belief statements that you have that go down right into the core. So if you think of having a tree, right, has all these beliefs on the top of this tree, and then you're going to dig down right into the roots, which is your core faulty identity, which happens before the age of, say, 8, 7, up to like 7. So if you had a parent that said you're stupid, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're dumb, then you're going to have a belief that you're stupid, you're dumb. And that's going to carry with you through your whole life until you get rid of it. Okay. So once you have the statements, then you find out, well, what's associated with this. So it can be emotions. It's trapped emotions. And then there's energy, body code energies. And then there's additional energies. And then you put statements back in. So it's just a way to clear out the gunk in your body. The bad energy gunk in your body, so that your body can heal itself. Nothing heals you but yourself. Your own body is quite capable of healing itself, but you have to believe it and you have to do the work to make that happen. That could be a good diet or whatever, different. That's a big key component, is what you put in your body.
Okay. That makes total sense to me. But I have come a long way in my health beliefs lately. So yes, I totally understand where you're coming from. And for those of you that are thinking this is a little woo-woo, it's not. So just pay attention. Okay. So for the women who are listening that are that are thinking, okay, this sounds, I don't know, and they've maybe never heard of muscle testing or they've never heard of energy blocks. How do you describe what you do in everyday terms?
Well, so I mean, it's hard to understand. How can somebody give me permission? So I can do an example of it with you, but how can
Okay.
somebody give me permission? I connect to their energy, and then I can say emotions that are causing it. So just to show you what it is, and muscle testing is something that can take time. Some people will start out using a pendulum, and then some people will end that they just know. It's like we all have different gifts, but we don't use them. But we all have intuition, and if it's not developed, then you need these other tools, right? So I'm kind of in between all three. I kind of use all three. I always double check though. I don't want to use just intuition. I just think it's really important to double check. But Melodine, do I have permission to connect to your energy?
Sure. I've been hypnotized on my podcast, so why not? Okay.
Okay. Well,
I'm game.
we're
Let's
not
go.
hypnotizing, we're not hypnotizing you, but you just take a moment to connect to God. I connect to the God within my heart. And okay, so now I'm connected to you. So I'm going to do this is a little circuit check. So I'm asking, is your heart happy? No. So that means that we need to release something from it. And when I'm doing this, I don't have to go to the age, where in body code, a lot of times you'll go to the age. But these are just emotions that are now blocking this circuit that we want to get rid of. Heartache. So now this looks a little woo-woo and weird, but it's just intention. It's magnified intention. So release the heartache that's causing this number one circuit to be out of balance. And you really only need to do it 3 times, but I just love using my magnet. And is there something else? Yes. This one is betrayal. So at some point in your life, somebody betrayed you, and that is affecting your number one circuit. So you're ready to release that betrayal now.
Okay. Yeah, I can't argue with that. He betrayed me big time. Okay.
Okay. So do those make sense to you then?
Oh,
When
yeah.
I say those, yes. Okay. So now there's no more that you're ready to release on that circuit. So I'm going to balance the energy flow of your heart meridian and balance the energy flow of your small intestine meridian. So is that circuit now happy? So you see, I'm going, is that circuit now happy? Yes, it is. Now, you can do muscle testing a lot of different ways, and I'm sure auditorily people don't know. I can't see what I'm doing. So that's why you want to use, you can use the book, but you kind of interlink your fingers, and the key is the pressure that you put on this side. And then if you pull it through with one finger, yes, no, because if you hold it too tight, yes, no, nothing's going to get through. And if you don't hold it, if you don't put any pressure on it, it's just going to keep going through, yes, no. So to test the muscle strength, this is what you have to work on. Show me yes, show me no.
Okay.
So that's how I'm doing it. You can do it with your fingers, yes, no, yes, no. Some people do it this way. Some people do a sway test. So there's many different ways. I can say, is your number 2 circuit happy? So there's something to be released from there too. So this is using another technique. This would be using a pendulum. Okay, is it something in column A, something in column B? Failures. See, this just takes a little longer. So this is something that was, I'm sure, from the past, and I am connected to Melodine's, but low self-esteem. At some point, you've had low self-esteem.
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah, power to you for getting past that, but release the low self-esteem energy. Is there something else that's ready to be released to make the circuit happy? No. So it was just one little thing. So we'll balance the energy flow of your spleen meridian and balance the energy flow of your stomach meridian. Now, if I was just doing straight up emotion code, I would say something like, what for your best and highest good, what's the most important emotion that you need to have released, Melodine?
I don't know because I didn't know I had all these things. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
I knew I
I
had this stuff in my past, but as far as I knew, I was past all of that and moving
exactly. Well,
on.
we do
So,
consciously, but subconsciously. It's anger. And how old are you? This one
67.
I'm doing by 67. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So what age was it when this anger that you're ready to release, what age was it from?
Oh, who
And
knows?
so I'll say, was it before 60? Was it before 50? Was
Oh,
it
it's
before
probably way,
before
yeah, it's
40?
way
Wait,
back.
don't tell me.
Okay.
Before 60, before 50, before 40, before 30, but intuition before 30, yeah, before 25, no, 25, 26, 27, 28. Some anger that you had at age 28 that you're ready to release right now. So I go, so you can go like,
That actually
you know,
makes sense. Yes. Okay.
okay,
The
so
anger
20.
came from the betrayal, and yeah, 28 is right about the right age. Okay, I'm impressed.
Okay, so release that trapped emotional energy of anger from age 28. It's that simple. That particular energy is now gone forever. Does that mean that you don't have more anger? No, because we vibrate at a particular resonance. And when we have anger inside of us, we just keep attracting more things that make us angry. And I've always said, because I have a quick story. When I did accounting, I would get so frustrated when people would say, well, you owe us money. Going, well, I'm looking at the debits and I'm looking at the credits, so we should be able to find the answer. And they just couldn't get that concept of that, like show me where we either owe you money or don't owe you money or, whatever. So I would get really frustrated. And then later on, as I had done accounting and I learned not to get frustrated, I worked on it, went away. And then when I went to another job, she was like, I'm so frustrated. I can't talk to this woman. Will you talk to her? And I resolved everything. So the point being is that when we have the energy, those things are going to keep coming at us until we learn to not react to it. And then it goes away. So you had said something that, wow, I thought I've already resolved all of this. So consciously, we can say, oh, yeah, I forgive you and everything else. But that does not mean that the energy is not still in there. Now, when you go forward with your energy, right, you can acknowledge something, look at it, and say, oh, wow, why am I feeling angry? And you could go back and you can switch it. So going forward, it's much easier using techniques to not get that trapped emotion in you. But let me tell you, it takes work. This is not something that just happens. It's like we're a constant growing. Um, all of us are. We're all the same. So we are always growing, or we're not. Well, I mean, we have that choice to grow or not. But if we want to be well, there has to be some effort put towards it. I use a lot of Dr. Joe Dispenza meditations and other meditations, and just really put in that effort to feel good daily.
Okay. Well, like I
Yeah.
said, I'm impressed because you pinpointed the exact year when. Yes.
Yeah. So some other
Long
things,
story.
fun techniques that I use is I use a hand and foot chart. So I like can test like the heart to, find out, does your heart need support? Um, well, I mean, yeah, it does need some support. And about how much is it? I get 40% needs support. So it doesn't mean like it's anything serious. If like a 10 is you're going to be in the hospital, right? But it just means that, you might need a little bit of support. And so if I go to in this chart, it does give you some suggestions for heart oils, but everything is emotion based, right? So you don't need all these oils. You need it because of a certain reason, right? So is it cardamom? Is it rose? So you're testing strong for rose oil. So what's interesting about that is you can go, I use this is a tool I use, which is it's essential emotions, and it's divine love. So why would you need this one? Some constricted feelings. Um, so like you've repressed some feelings, which makes sense because you're like, oh, I thought I resolved that. But it's still in there, right? Um, and wounded. Two things out of like seven. So that would be the reason why I would recommend rose oil. And you can do that for every organ. You can do that for um, every emotion. I mean, every oil. So like once you know the organ, you find the oil, and then you can find the emotion. And why would that be important? As I said, so well, going forward, if you're acknowledging what you're feeling, then it's not going to keep attacking you, right? So but going back, you want to use the oils because that's another way to help change that energy vibration. So once those once that emotion or that energy is out of you, then you won't need that particular oil anymore. It's pretty interesting.
That's just very intriguing because, well, I know when we were talking, I told you that I'm a big believer in essential oils and I have a cupboard full.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, the other day, I felt like I needed to go check on did I have any rose oil, which I was out. So I needed to buy some. So that's just really intriguing that it's like kind of like I knew that I needed this.
Well, that and I love that you said that because that's the other aspect of it. Because a lot of times people will buy essential oils, but they don't really know what to do with them. So they're like, oh, they smell good. Oh my gosh, there's so much more than that. And then it's trusting in your intuition. So if you're feeling a draw to something, I say when you first get your oils, if you don't know what to do, just say, what do I need? And pick the oil. You can look and see the emotion, read what it's about. You can do free writes. I mean, it's such a fabulous tool. I've used them since 2011, and I'm just so grateful. I don't know how people don't have it. I mean, that's my medicine cabinet. That's how I see it.
Oh yeah, I love my oils. I love my oils. Ah, that just kind of blew me away there because, like I said, we're not even sitting next to each other. We've never actually met in person, and yet you pinpointed it right down to how old I was when all of this happened. And we picked up, that just amazes me. We picked up on the rose oil. That's very cool. Okay, I'm impressed.
Thank you. Well, and it's not even like I have, it's like I've developed the gift, but it isn't like you couldn't do it. You just have to develop the gift. And I just think it's not, bringing awareness to something is what it is. And when I like to help people, I like to empower them to have that gift. You know what I mean? So
Okay,
I
so
don't, it's not like I can't take care of everybody. So it's like if I can help people to help themselves, that's really my ultimate goal.
okay, well, we discovered that I'm still harboring a whole lot of anger and betrayal, apparently. What are some common emotional or energetic blocks do you see in women?
Oh my gosh,
Do we all have
everything.
anger? Do we all have anger and betrayal? I would think that probably a lot of us do, but what are some others?
A lot of us do. Well, these are the 60 emotions that you work from. And all the emotions are attached to organs. So, for example, I, going back when I said I was sick and having problems, part of it was my gallbladder. So, here's the emotions for gallbladder and liver: anger, bitterness, guilt, hatred, resentment, depression, frustration, indecisive, panic, and taken for granted. Oh my gosh, that was like,
Yeah, what woman has not experienced every one of those?
yeah, over and over and over and over again. So I still have to release from my liver and my gallbladder. So how do I know to release would probably be a good question. How do I know when to release? When I start feeling the pain under my ribs, I know. And then I also drink if it's getting bad and just releasing an emotion hasn't happened, or I have reoccurring problems, I definitely drink warm water with lemon in it. So that's a good tip. Instead of going and get your gallbladder removed, work on the energy, and drink warm lemon water, because any doctor will be very happy to take your gallbladder out. And then you're left, it's like, God put it in, the man takes it out. It makes no sense to my brain. Maybe there's something wrong with me. But anyway, so there's lots of emotions. If you're dealing with kidneys, it could be blaming, dread, fear, horror, peeved, conflict, creative insecurity, terror, unsupported, wishy-washy are a lot of them. So each one, and of course, heart, when you think of heart, of course, abandonment, betrayal, those are the things that actually really hurt your heart, right? So love unreceived is another one. So there's really just the 60 emotions that I work from. I'm sure there could be more, but it seems like that covers everything. I know there's different modalities of healing, different types of healing, and I find that sometimes you need more than one. And I always recommend, if somebody has something, maybe I've worked with them and got them as far as I can with this information, but there might be something, neuro linguistic programming is one. Um, Trying to think. Yeah, hypnosis is another one. So there's different people that I personally work with and suggest if it's not something in what I'm doing, because I just find when you focus on what you're doing, what is your gift, that's really the best way to do it. And then just help your brothers and sisters by referring other people.
Cool. I love it.
Yay.
You are a fellow podcaster, just like me.
Yes.
So you have your own podcast,
Yes.
Steps to Feel Good Daily.
Yep.
What inspired you to create a podcast? There's not a lot of us out there that, there's just not a lot of be nice and say there's not a lot of women in our age bracket that are podcasting. What
Well,
inspired you?
Joey Garrity is the one who had invited me to do the show because she liked my work. And and it was like the most uncomfortable, difficult thing for me to do. It was really stretching and growing. So embracing new things, we just have to keep growing and changing. So I've done it. I would much rather be interviewed than interview. It's so much easier to talk about, your passion than it is to do all the little technical things that I have to do on my show. But yeah, if there's people that are, holistic healers or whatever, I think you said you'll have a write up or whatever, people can reach out and watch the show. We have 5 women and we do different things, but mine is really about how, feeling good daily and having different energy healers and, just gifted people in their fields to help us to know the things that they do to help them feel better daily. So that's how it's on YouTube and lots of other places, I guess.
Well, if it's Joey's, yes, it is. And that's just funny because she's the one that got me started, because I've been talking about it forever. And then she just finally was like, let's just get it done. So she sat me down and showed me everything I needed to do. And here we are.
Well, it's like what people maybe don't realize is that, well, a lot of people do, enlightened people do, but everybody has a different experience, but that experience can help you. So I commend you for stepping out of your comfort zone, just as I stepped out of mine, to, hopefully share something that will help somebody get through life, because life has a lot of little bumps and grinds in it.
Does it not?
Yeah.
Talk a lot about feeling good daily, and we know that all sounds simple, but it's not always easy. Sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. So what are some things that you recommend? What's like one daily practice that helps anchor you and when things get overwhelming?
One is pay attention. It's interesting you say that, because I had I've been struggling with something going on in my lower abdomen. I'm like, I'm not 65 yet. I don't have insurance. I can't be sick. So I have to take care of myself. But I will give you this. This is something that I got from Dr. Joe Dispenza. And it's today is going to be a great day, right? So when you get up in the morning, you say, today is going to be a great day. And this helps to activate your reticular activating system and helps you to start looking for things that are positive in your life. Another one is, I am worthy, because we don't have to prove anything to be loved. And another one is, I am in control of how I respond. And this helps with your cortisol levels because you're not getting angry. And so if I'm going to start getting frustrated or something, then I just have to remember I am in control of how I respond, even though I don't like what's going on around me. I am growing and learning every day. I am grateful for this new day. And that helps us to be grateful and remember what we already have. I am strong and capable. I choose to focus on what I can change. I deserve to take up space. And I am open to new possibilities. So I say that to myself, and whatever energy we're in is what we're going to keep attracting. So if everything is going bad in your day, you have to look and say, what kind of energy am I carrying around? Because when I was younger, prior to learning all these things, it was like, oh, my tires would go flat, my car wouldn't start, I had no money, I had all these things, life was just falling apart. So I have learned to use these techniques, and I also ask for my team, my guides. I learned that from Charmaine Diallo, who talks about your guides and your team to help protect you. But I also say, will you protect me this day, and will you guide me? So when I let go of when I let go of what I think something should be like, then everything gets better. I mean, miraculous things can happen in our lives when we don't try to control it consciously, when we allow the greatest God, the power of Him within us to work through us to help us to be where we need to be when we need to be there. My son always says, "Oh, mom spirit guides are at it again." It's like, I get the parking place. I get the parking place. And I say, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Then next time I get the parking place. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So, and then, I mean, just a lot of tiny miraculous things can happen in your life when you stop fighting against everything and just kind of like, hey, if A doesn't work, I got B, I got plan C, I got, those are things that help me. And then just paying attention to my body. And when something's not feeling right, I know that it's time to release energy.
Well, I have to admit, since I've started this podcast and I've talked to a lot of holistic healers and energy workers and one who calls herself the psychic warrior of the unconscious mind, which is my favorite job description ever. But it's totally, I was never a big fan of mainstream medicine anyway. I admit,
Yeah.
I always kind of was like, yeah, I don't know about that. But learning from all of you has changed a lot of the things I used to believe about health and healing. So what about you? Has this been the same for you? What's something that you used to believe about health and healing or success that all of this that you've discovered maybe has changed for you, that you no longer believe?
Okay, well, I will tell you, when I was a little girl, my mom said, you were really, really good, but when you were bad, you were horrid. And that was when I would go to the doctor, because they would want to stick the tongue depressor down, and I told him, don't do that. I know how to open up my throat. And he didn't listen, and he stuck that tongue depressor, or shots or medicine or whatever. So there was something inside of me at an early age, and I have really gone through my life not consciously knowing where I was going to end up because I didn't. It's like every time I went to the doctor, I already knew the answer. I don't know if everybody has that experience, but I already knew what they were going to do, what they were going to say. And I was always too late. So I already had to suffer through whatever I had to go through. Um, and the other interesting thing is that I went to UC Berkeley for psychology. And I was like, this is just people's theories. I couldn't grasp it. It didn't make sense in my brain. But boy, when I learned about energy, when I learned that these were the emotions, when I started working with this, my gosh, I mean, I think when I started using oils, it just kind of changed and like got out some of the energy that was in me that needed to be released so that I could really find my purpose. I don't know for sure. I just I just got led and I just go by what I feel inside. And I think it's like everybody has to go by what ignites you. You know, if you have choices to make, which of those three choices really makes your heart sing, really ignites you, and follow that path. Don't If you stay stuck in the same place, you know, you can just live a life of misery, which can make you very sick. So I just never thought somebody's opinion. I never thought that I know that every medication has a side effect. So I just tried something new. And because I tried something new, I found the magic in my life.
Cool. So for the women listening today, listening like when they listen to this broadcast and they feel stuck or exhausted, what's the first tiny step that they can take today to shift their energy?
Those things I said, or just saying acknowledging what they're feeling, like, oh wow, I feel really down today. Okay, I'm gonna make myself happy. That's one way. I mean, anything, because we always have a choice. So you can either stay stuck or you can switch it. I used to have monkey mind where I'd think of everything negative that could go on. And now sometimes I just say stop. And that's enough. And then I can switch myself to the positive. So if you don't have a pen handy, that brings about the smile and makes you feel silly. You can just say stop and make that choice to switch the energy to a positive.
And it really is that. I don't want to say it's that simple because it is a conscious effort to say, I am not going to let that, I'm not going to feel that way today. It's a conscious thing. So it's not easy, but it's that simple. Okay. It's not always easy, but it is that simple to just say,
that simple.
I'm not going to do this today.
Yeah. I'm taking breath too. You can breathe in when, like, right at the moment something tense is happening, you can breathe in and then breathe out slowly. So sometimes I'll do that throughout the day even if I'm feeling anxious or something, and for no apparent reason. Why am I feeling anxious? I have a lot to do. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I think also, like, at the end of the day, when you go to bed, you just say 3 things that happened in that day that you were grateful for. And then the next day you kind of wake up and you're like, oh, great. I'm going to say these things and I'm going to be paying attention. And what is exciting that's going to happen today?
All right. I'm going to ask you the question I ask everybody that comes here, because this is the Rebel Tribe, and we are all about rewriting the rules and defying what society says we all should be.
Yes.
So what's a rule you've broken that changed your life?
Probably doing, I would just say doing this type of work, because I know I have family members that I have some that are doing what I do and they have seen the light, and I have others that don't. And So I would say probably family traditions or just the traditional doctor. I have to go to the doctor and, I have to get a shot. I've never, ever, ever been vaccinated for a flu. I've never had a flu shot. I never got vaccinated. So I'm kind of a rebel in that way. But I'm thankful that I did because I've also don't get sick. I mean, if I do, I get out of it like that very quickly.
And again, we're not saying that there's never a cause to go to the doctor, because there's
That's true.
definitely times when you need to go to the doctor.
Absolutely. Only just after you're 65. When you have the insurance to cover it. No. No, I mean, I love doctors and I'm thankful for what they do because they can tell us too physically what's going on with us. They meet with a lot of people. Sometimes you have to take medication, but according to my cousin, medication should only be a temporary situation. You should always have that as like, okay, this is an emergency. I need to do this to help me stay alive, which doctors are fabulous in keeping us alive. But we also need to look at the other side of it. And I think the two together can really be a good marriage. It's like, what's going on with me, and this can help me to get back. But on the flip side of it is I'm going to do everything I can naturally that I don't have to be on long-term medication.
Exactly. That's what I keep trying to tell everybody. There's a place for medicine, and there's a place when you don't need the medicine. When I
Yes, and
fell and broke my ankle, I needed a doctor to set the ankle and put the cast on. I could have rubbed it with oils all day long. It would never have healed properly because it needed to be set. And that's when you go to the doctor. Okay.
correct. I've been hit by a car. I've been in a car accident. So I thankful that like I said, that doctors saved my lives, but doctors aren't, it's the pharmaceutical that's can be, doctors are trained to know how to manage medications. And then I guess other people, energy workers, are trained to know how to manage energy, right? So you think spirit doctor, physical doctor.
And you need them both.
Yes, and we need them both. Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, this was awesome. So where can our listeners connect with you if they want to like book a session or tune into your podcast? How do they connect with you?
My website, happyhealing.me, is a really good way to reach out. I have my contact information there. It's always best to text me, but you can book I do a free consultation, and I'll do a couple of little energy releases for you on the consultation, but just to find out where you're at physically, what you might need help with, and see if I'm the person to help you, because I may not be. I may be, but I may not be. And I'm honest about that. If it's like, just something that's not within what I do, then I recommend.
Okay. And I'll post the link in the description in the show notes when we're done, so everybody will be able to find it. So
Yeah.
reach out to her if you'd like to. One last question. I'm just curious. What does healing mean to you now? Because you kept talking about when we're over 60. I don't remember. I know you told me how old you were, but I forget. So, and I'm well over 60. I'm knocking on 70. Okay. And I feel pretty good. I mean, I feel good. I
Yeah.
feel
But
fine, actually. Um, so what does healing mean to you now in this chapter of your life?
well, I'm 64. So, I mean, healing is something that is a daily action. Um, Healing is paying attention to what we feel, and taking action on it, and not getting like super scared, because that sends you even into more of a spiral. I mean, I have things that I have to take care of. I just look for the answers. So I think healing for me is like, what can I do? Who can help me? Um, and what steps can I take to help me to heal? Because healing isn't it's physical and it's energetic. It's an emotional thing. So I don't know. To me, it's just a daily it's just a daily effort to survive happily. Because if we don't feel good, and I think that was one of the reasons why. I mean, when we don't have our health and we don't have our positive attitude, life can be pretty brutal.
Makes sense. All righty. Well, I thank you for being my guest today. I'm like was very impressed with your demonstration. I'm going to go out and make sure I order my rose oil now because apparently I was right and I did need it.
Yeah, and they
So
have the rose touch too, so it's not I mean, I don't know if you used doTERRA oils or other
I
oils, but
do. Yep, I use
yeah.
doTERRA.
So the rose touch is a lot less than the pure rose oil. So you're fine.
So I'm going to
Fine
go
with the
buy my
touch.
rose oil because apparently I needed it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Way to pay attention. I love it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Lana.
You're welcome.